Good morning, everybody. What is going on? David Productions 345 here. I feel like it's been a while since I've talked to you guys specifically like on camera, because the last videos that I was uploading were from like 2 weeks ago, almost 3. So in this video, I'm going to be basically making a video on what makes my all-wheel drive Dodge Charger different than a rear-wheel drive one. I've had some similar videos in the past, but I just want to talk to you guys about a bunch of stuff, because a lot of people, when I tell them I have an all-wheel drive Hemi, they're like, they made those? And that actually brings me into the first point, is that not all all-wheel drive Hemis are Pursuit models. You guys see this one is not converted from a Pursuit. This one is originally a civilian car. Sorry about the wind as well. Hopefully it's not too bad. Let's turn this off. You guys see, I did not add any of this. This is all factory, like the red seats, the door panels. Obviously the back door is open. They have handles in the back too. This is a full civilian car. A lot of people are wondering, they're like, that's so cool they made them. You guys can see obviously the floor shifter versus on the column. So yes, all-wheel drive Hemis were offered to civilians, and honestly, it's kind of cool, because when I originally was looking for one of these, I thought the same thing. I thought they were only available for Pursuit vehicles, and you had to get an ex-Pursuit car for it to work. I thought the same thing. And then, obviously, when I was looking for my red one, before that one got crashed out, I found that one. And I'm like, damn, that's so sick. It has all the options I want, and it's all-wheel drive. And you guys know where I live. Well, you guys don't know where I live. Hopefully not. But you guys know that this area, there's a lot of snow in the winter, so having an all-wheel drive really is beneficial. But yes, it's very cool, because a lot of people are always so confused. They're like, all-wheel drive Hemi, that's cool. This one guy I met, he actually has an all-wheel drive 300. So again, guys, the all-wheel drive Hemis, they're not just for Pursuit vehicles. Obviously, they never had 300 Pursuits either. So same platform as this. I almost got one of those, actually. It was like a jazz blue color. It was kind of like a darker blue. But I realized I just like how the Charger looks, man. The 300 is sick. But like, a lot of people are like, I don't see you in a 300. I'm like, I mean, I could pull it off low-key, like, especially if it's all black. But yeah, that's just one of the things, guys, is that many people think these are only Pursuit vehicles, and that is not the case at all. Number 2, so even though they're kind of similar, they're also different. In terms of the brakes are in the front. You guys can see the caliper is in the front versus in the rear. Also, sorry about the dirty-ass tires. You guys already know I'll be out here. It's muddy as hell all the time. But the brakes are in the front, the calipers. Again, I said the same thing. The brakes are a little bit bigger than the rear-wheel drive ones in the front. And then in the back, they're basically the same. They're similar. Also, the suspension is different. You guys are probably like, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. So the control arms in the all-wheel drive, they're basically like V arms, kind of like, versus the rear-wheel drive one where they're all just like single arm. So the upper one for both was the same, but the lower one is different. And it just, the suspension geometry is a little bit different. And I've worked on my red one before, and it's honestly not that hard to do. It's just a little bit different. I've never worked on a rear-wheel drive one yet, but I can just tell you guys, taking some of the parts off is actually not that bad. Only thing that sucks is that when you're doing the upper control arms for both vehicles, you have to pop the cowl, the wiper cowl off and do that. That's fine, and that's whatever. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Also, the all-wheel drive models have 2 differentials, obviously. So that means the front end will lurch up like this. I'm going to get some clips in a little bit. All right, we're going to try this real quick. It actually looks sick. It looks like the car has hella horsepower, even though this one doesn't. But that's pretty cool, because especially when you're revving it for your friends, like my friends loved when I was just downshifted the second gear, and then all of a sudden, and the whole front end goes like this. And it's not like me exaggerating. It actually does that, which is crazy. Also, what's cool about the all-wheel drives is the fact that a lot of people think that these cars are always an all-wheel drive, which is not the case. They're primarily rear-wheel drive until they detect slippage and other stuff. Dude, it's getting windy out here. Hold up. Let me make sure my video doesn't get messed up. Also, shout out Raven in the mirror, man. That shit's sick. YouTube channel decal. Yeah, so the differential lifts up like this. It lurches. It looks pretty sick. Also, the fact that it has 2 differentials is pretty cool because more power. No, not more power, but power is distributed 38% in the front, 62% in the back. So again, it is rear drive bias, all-wheel drive, which is still pretty cool. Also, guys, whenever you're driving these cars, whenever you press this button right here, I'm sure you guys, hopefully it does it. Whenever I press it, oh, it won't do it. It's in that mode. Whenever I press the traction off button, it says traction control sport. It's not really sport mode. With the all-wheel drive models, what it does is actually, let me go down a page. It automatically converts it into all-wheel drive. So you guys cannot really have rear-wheel drive all the time. Like, you can obviously, so the way to get around that is if you guys have the taser, the automotive taser, it's basically a cool tool in the trunk that you can mount in the front OBD2 port. I mounted mine in the trunk because it has the double bypass, which makes it so I can still mount stuff up here. What it does is that if you have an all-wheel drive model, you can lock it in all-wheel drive, lock it in rear-wheel drive. In my opinion, though, if you guys want to lock it in all-wheel drive pretty quickly without doing anything, just press this traction button, and obviously, when I press it again, it'll go back to rear-wheel drive, but you can press it to lock it into all-wheel drive. And you guys can see it switched, and that's just me pressing the button. Let's do that one more time. Press the button, traction control sport, automatically in all-wheel drive. Next, with the paddles, what I don't like is the same thing whenever I downshift into a gear. Like, look at that. Well, it won't do it, obviously, because I'm not moving. But whenever I downshift into a gear, it'll automatically go into all-wheel drive. I mean, it's cool because if you're racing on the highway, I don't promote illegal street racing. But if you're doing that, when you downshift, you have all-wheel drive, so you have the most grip. That's cool. But when you're, like, spirited driving and you want to use the paddles, it kind of sucks because you have to be in all-wheel drive for that. When you're in angry mode, which is when you basically turn off traction by holding this button for 10 seconds, you have to use the paddles. But in that case, you're in rear-wheel drive all the time, which is cool because that's how you burn tires, that's how you do donuts, burnouts, all that stuff. With the all-wheel drive models, the floor mat for this side is actually different because the trans tunnel, so that's something there. The WeatherTech mats are different for that side. Also, guys, it's kind of hard to get parts for the all-wheel drive models because, like, certain things like exhaust, they only have like one brand that makes all-wheel drive headers for the 5.7, and that sucks because what if I want to get long tube headers for my car? They're about like $1,800 to $2,000 versus just being like a couple $100, and that sucks. So what I'm going to probably do when I do my headers is get a set of rear-wheel drive ones and use a hammer. Because honestly, that feels more like a money saver versus like spending $2K on headers, because that's crazy. Other parts like suspension kits, front end and rear end suspension kits, they don't really make kits for the all-wheel drive. For the rear-wheel drive, they have like a BMR. The only thing that they do have is they have lowering springs for all-wheel drives. All I know is that getting parts is harder. Getting wheels especially is harder. Let me go back outside, I think we're good. Getting the right set of wheels for your ride is also harder because the offset, which means you can fit rear-wheel drive wheels onto all-wheel drive cars. They will stick out. Let me show you guys in the back. I didn't do it yet, but they're going to probably stick out to like here. So they're going to fill the wheel gap in the back and in the front. But in the front, they kind of stick out a little bit too far to the point where it's like, looks kind of weird. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I almost got a cheap set. I should have gotten the set, actually. That would have looked sick with this car. But I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I was thinking about doing it originally, but then I was like, I don't know. Also, when me and my friend Dom were installing his headlights, there was his RGB fog lights. There was actually a fuse underneath in the fuse box. I don't know why I can't talk today. That said all-wheel drive fuse, so he could use it. I can't because there's a fuse there. Like, it was an open one for him. This is what my engine bay looks like. I don't know if I showed you guys this. Same as the rear-wheel drive. One thing also I noticed is that when we were doing his belts and stuff, hopefully I can touch the screen over here. When we were doing his serpentine belts, I was looking at the fan placement, and I swear for his car, the fan looked way closer to all this stuff than mine does. Because I know in red, the fan was at a different distance. Like, I think the engine might be pushed a little bit farther back from my car, because for the real drive models, it might be closer up to the front, which means when you're doing this radiator fan, it's hard to get it out because there's not enough room. In my other video, my radiator fan video, people were saying, how the hell did this dude get that fan up out of the car, up, like, coming straight up? Because I remember I was just wiggling it like this to get it up. A lot of people were saying it's impossible. That's probably because you have a rear wheel drive, which means it's closer to the belt assembly. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but that's what I'm guessing, because this looks a little bit different than his. Like, his look a lot closer. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Also, look, my intake is finally clean. Let's go. Got the short tower brace, oil catch can. I almost said JLT. K&N intake. 180 thermostat. Dude, I like how this thing is set up right now. I have a couple more things planned for this engine bay dress up. I want to get some signatures and stuff. We're going to close out the backup. Like, guys, I just like the fact that I can have fun in this car in rear drive, doing donuts, burnouts. Obviously, it's an open differential. I'm trying to look for a limited slip cradle. But it's cool because I can lock it in the rear drive and have my fun. And then when it's snowing out and I want to be more safe, I can put it in all-wheel drive, and this shit is a tank because it is heavy. It is a boat. These cars are like 4,500 pounds. It is like around 200 pounds-ish heavier than a rear drive one, which is like 4,200. These are like 4,450. So the 200 pounds difference is a lot. That's a lot of weight. But like, if you really want to make the weight difference like not as much of a problem, add more power. When you're at lower power levels, they're very similar in performance. I remember my other car, all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive, it was like, I think like a couple, it was like not even that much different. Like, it was like 5.8 in all-wheel drive. No, it was like 5.8 in rear-wheel drive, 5.7 or 5.6 in all-wheel drive, and sometimes those are around the same. So performance is like a minimal difference when you're at low power levels. When you're at higher power levels with like 450, 500 horsepower, 550, you'll definitely notice the difference. And a lot of people have taken these cars up to that power level. I'll mention a couple that I know of because I watch a lot of YouTube. Hemi Life in his old, I almost said SRT Charger. His old RT Max all-wheel drive he had. And then Das Lamas had one. I don't know if he still has it, but he had around 600 horsepower. And it was just, I like seeing their videos because it shows you guys that these cars, are, whether they're a little bit different, people still do mods to them. People still modify them. It's still 5.7. You can still add 5.7 modifications. But guys, it's just really funny because a lot of people think these cars always stay in all-wheel drive, and they do not. I'm pretty sure the older cars might have, like the first-gen RT all-wheel drives from like 06 to 10. But these ones have a cool transfer case where somebody actually used it for one of their builds. I remember seeing something in like one of like the forums how somebody used a Charger all-wheel drive front transfer case for one of their sports car builds because it could handle power. It was interesting. If I could find the clip, I'll find that for you guys, or I'll find the picture or image for that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a last walk around before it gets too cold out here, so just so I can show you guys my car. She's all black. She looks nice. She has a Viper hood, SRT8 front bumper, VLAN RGB headlights, RGB fog lights coming soon, stock wheels and tires. Actually, stock rims. Tires are 255. Oh, that's one thing I was going to talk about. Is tires. That's the thing about all-wheel drives, guys. The stock size is 235, 55, 19 in all four corners on 19 by 7.5 rims. The rear drive models, I'm pretty sure the fronts had 245s, the back had maybe 275s stock, or they might have been 245 all the way around, but they're usually 245, 45, 20. So right now I have 255, 50, 19. So they're wider, they get more grip. They might rev a little bit on the inner wheel well. When I notice like on really wide turns, I can kind of tell, I hear a little bit of sound, but they look good. And guys, Raven looks so sick right now. They're all black, looks awesome. Like it just, I want to give you guys a walk around of this car because I don't really do that too much because she looks basically stock from some angles. Like the spoiler is still the stock one. We haven't had time to swap my SRT8 style one on the back. The quad tips though, man. Let me get a little exhaust clip for you guys. But here she is in her full kind of look. This is how These planes always want to come over in my videos whenever I'm trying to film, man. But dude, the purple looks so sick with the black. And the one thing I don't like is that my Easy Pass is all white and you guys can see it right there. That's the one problem. But it was cool because the past owner had like a mount already in there for the Easy Pass. So shout out to you. Dude, it's just, I love these cars. Like this is my second Charger. Rip to Big Red. This is my V2 Charger. This is my second version. But guys, you guys see this Big Red? If you guys can see that in the camera, right here. Big Red, David Productions 345. Shout out to my girlfriend. She got this for me for Christmas. It was sad that Reddy got totaled out, but you know what? We're always gonna have Big Red with us. Always. Big Red, David Productions 345. That's what kind of started this channel, is basically Big Red and all the videos I filmed with her. The fun videos, the stupid videos we filmed. Guys, I love this car. And the all-wheel drive models are a little bit different. They're very similar, but like the differences are either hit or miss. Some of them are cool. The fact that you have 2 differentials, which means you can technically go faster when you have more power, but at the same time, that means more parts can break. So me personally, I love the all-wheel drive models. I was saying in one of my videos, the next one I'm gonna get is definitely gonna be a rear-wheel drive model so I can actually like put power to it more easy. And the fact that, the reason I'm saying that is because like the headers, for example, I'm gonna do like a Temu build, maybe get some like Temu headers or eBay headers. We're gonna throw like parts, like right now, the parts I'm buying for this car, like the short tower brace, oil couch can, they're not the highest quality ones, but they're doing their job. The short tower brace definitely helps in the corners a little bit. So yeah, guys, this video is some of the differences in all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. Like, what are the real differences? Because in the real-world application, there's a few. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys found this video informational, entertaining, a little bit more of an educational-esque video. I miss talking to you guys on the camera. Like, it's been a while. It's been like 2-3 weeks since I filmed a video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Me and Raven are out. Peace out, guys.